A celebration so big it brought former Vice President Mike Pence to Indianapolis, saluting IBJ Media's Indiana 250, the best of the best in Indiana business. Plus,
there's a big story cooking up in the kitchen, but we're not talking about food. Indoor pickleball is booming in central Indiana. That's coming up in the Business of Health.
And could the World Rugby Cup be the next big score for Indy's sports scene? It's all coming your way next on Inside Indiana Business.
From Indiana's business news leader, this is IBJ Media's Inside Indiana Business with Gary Dick, presented by Elevate Ventures, Indiana University, and LIUNA.
Hello and welcome to Inside Indiana Business. I'm Mary Rachel Redmond in for Gary Dick this week. Well, we begin with a tip of the hat to Indiana's cream of the crop in the business world. IBJ Media's annual and much anticipated Indiana 250 list unveiled this week. It's a who's who of the state's most influential and impactful leaders in business, education, philanthropy, the arts, and government. How big of a badge of honor is it to make the 250 list? It drew the attention of former Vice President and Indiana Governor Mike Pence, who praised the honorees at IBJ Media's Indiana 250 event in downtown Indianapolis.
And it's a big deal to make the Indiana 250. It means your work has transcended the ordinary, has touched lives for countless Hoosiers, from the entrepreneurs that built thriving businesses, the philanthropists who dedicated their lives serving others, the artists who created enduring works of beauty, to civil servants, public officials, to athletes and entertainers. You embody the best of Indiana.
Awesome to see amazing leaders from around the state.
A packed house. 250 of the state's best and brightest business leaders on top of the world. Well, as high up as you can go, in Indiana at least, gathering to celebrate on the 47th floor of the state's tallest building at Salesforce Tower in downtown Indianapolis. IBJ Media's annual Indiana 250 event, showcasing, honoring, and celebrating influential Hoosier business and community leaders for their impact on the state.
We're showcasing how they engage in the community, how they help lead our state, how they help lead in their regions across the state. And we think it's important as a company, as IBJ Media, to uplift these people. They can be examples to young people who are thinking about how they're going to lead and ways to climb the ladders that they want to climb.
One of the honorees, a key player in driving big sports dollars into the Hoosier state, Pacers Sports and Entertainment President Mel Raines.
And I think it speaks to our community. We're a team for the city and the state. We're the Indiana Pacers, not the Indianapolis Pacers. And to see this group of amazing individuals from literally every inch of our state come together and what we can achieve collectively is really inspiring.
The leader of Evansville-based Old National Bank, also a 250 honoree, CEO Jim Ryan, on what the recognition means to him and his company.
We are so proud to be headquartered in Evansville, Indiana for 190 years. And so I just think this is an extension of the celebration of all the great work that all the great businesses and nonprofits and government sector work do each and every year.
Also on the list, the man in charge at the Indianapolis International Airport, Mario Rodriguez. And Molly Bacon, co-founder of Gang Gang in Indianapolis, whose mission is to put minority arts and culture in the spotlight.
All right.
Married behind.
Yeah, you know, hey.
Recognize that guy? It's NFL star Jason Kelce, checking out a saxophone at Sweetwater Sound in Fort Wayne. Sweetwater founder and chairman Chuck Sirac, also on IBJ's Indiana 250 list.
We're not just celebrating people that accomplish great things in business. We're celebrating people who have taken that success and then used it to pour into the lives of the people around them, who have carried yourselves in such a way as to inspire the people of this state to aim higher. And in Indiana, in that respect, is unique and special.
The vice president also spoke at length about a man who inspired, guided, and propelled many of the leaders on IBJ Media's 250 list, Jim Morris. He passed away last week after serving as one of Central Indiana's most influential business and civic leaders ever. His funeral was Friday in Indianapolis. Pence on receiving the news of Morris's passing.
That broke our hearts. None of us is promised tomorrow, but there are a few people in my life that I've always hoped would have more tomorrows before mine came to an end. And one of them was Jim Morris.
Few have had such a profound impact on Indianapolis and our state as Jim Morris. Never seeking the headlines, he touched virtually every project or initiative of significance in Indianapolis over the past 50 years, from the building of Market Square Arena to the arrival of the Colts and the NCAA, the creation of the Indiana Sports Corporation, and an ambitious sports strategy that would change the trajectory of a once sleepy Midwest city forever. Jim's passion for Indianapolis and Indiana was unmatched. His was an optimistic view that helped the city and state think about the possibilities for what could be, and along with it, the motivation to make it happen. I so enjoyed my conversations with Jim over the years, whether it was Indianapolis, basketball, his beloved Indiana University, or his native Terre Haute in the Wabash Valley. Jim loved to talk about the places he loved. His commitment to Indianapolis and Indiana will extend for generations, as will his kindness, compassion, and hopeful outlook. In a word that he used often, Jim Morris was extraordinary.
Indiana will miss Jim Morris, and the debt we owe to him can only be repaid by relentless imitation of his example.
Well, it's one of the most highly traveled roadways in northern Indiana. Over 30,000 cars drive on US 30 on any given day, making drive time and safety major issues on the roadway. But local officials and business leaders in communities along the 100-mile stretch between Fort Wayne and Valparaiso want to see the US 30 highway turned into a limited access freeway. And a 2015 INDOT study backs this up. The study found a freeway system would nearly quadruple the number of daily travelers while creating an additional 11,000 jobs. But as Warsaw-based OrthoWorks CEO Bob Vito points out, the congestion and safety concerns of the current US 30 highway is a major detractor when it comes to enticing new business to come to northern Indiana.
Today, the US 30 serves as a major thoroughfare for a lot of truck traffic because they frankly are avoiding the toll cost on the toll road that's just north of us. And so as a result, we get a lot of that 18-wheeler traffic. But I think what's really hard for us to be able to discern is what's the loss that we're missing out on as a result of companies that have not chosen to put themselves here because of some of the challenges that exist.
A report on next steps for the future of US 30 is expected by the end of the year.
Here's what's making news around Indiana. Brought to you by the Indiana Association of Realtors. Indiana's 21,000 realtors. The neighbors you know, the experts you can count on.
Well, more business news making headlines around Indiana, starting in Howard County, where much needed affordable housing is on the way thanks to the state's Regional Economic Acceleration Development Initiative, best known as Ready 2.0. Nearly $33 million going toward building a new housing project at University Park in Kokomo, which should help nearly 3,000 people expected to work at 2 EV plants currently being built there. Radios for the Republic of Korea will be produced in Fort Wayne as part of a new deal. International defense and security company BAE Systems received multiple contracts totaling $111 million for the project. It will provide secure command and control for Korea's military aircraft. A home furnishings company is planning to expand in Whitestown. Safavio, which sells rugs along the indoor and outdoor furniture, is planning to invest $62 million into the project. The company has been in the community for the last 5 years and will continue operations at its current site after the expansion is complete. Big news for fans of the arts in Grant County. The Gas City Performing Arts Center has announced its first shows. The Classic Rock Experience will take the stage for a soft opening concert on October 4th, followed by Beatles tribute band Hard Day's Night on October 11th. Community leaders say there's excitement throughout the county about the project and the impact it will have not only on fans, but the community.
There's just a huge economic impact with the potential for hotel rooms and people buying fuel and stopping at local shops and retail shops and restaurants. And so I think it's going to be a catalyst in many ways to support not only existing business, but to grow some businesses in the area. And I know that we're all just super excited to see something like that come to fruition.
And it's not often you hear the words shipwreck in Indiana used in the same sentence, but there is a story unfolding off the shores of Mount Baldy in Michigan City that links the two together. The SS Muskegon, which sank back in 1911, is being dedicated this weekend as Indiana's second underwater preserve. The other shipwreck with Hoosier ties located off the shores of Indiana Dunes State Park. Still ahead, 2 Indiana businessmen are transforming empty buildings into indoor pickleball experiences. Kylie Valletta has a preview of what players can expect. And as we showed you earlier in the show, this is this year's IBJ Media's list of Indiana's 250 most influential people. You can check out who made the list at indiana250.com.
Finding the right healthcare partner for your business isn't easy, but Hancock Wellbeing at Work can help. We're a different kind of program that combines employer clinics with a wellness strategy. And in a lot of cases, we can deliver greater health benefits at a lower cost. See why well-being for your employees is well-being for your business at HancockWellbeingAtWork.org.
One of the fastest growing and most popular sports in the United States is set to make a big impact in central Indiana. The pickleball craze hitting the state in a big way. Kylie Valletta with more in this week's Business of Health.
Thanks, Mary Rachel. This location at Keystone Crossing is one of 6 coming to central Indiana. And with the unpredictable weather in the Hoosier State, taking the sport inside is key.
Indoor pickleball is going to be a hit in central Indiana. 2 Indianapolis investment advisors are banking on it.
Very nice.
Ron Brock and Dave Gilreath founded wealth management company Sheaf Brock decades ago and now have another project cooking in the kitchen.
We kind of bounce different ideas off one another from time to time. He came in one day and he's talking about pickleball, and I'm familiar with pickleball. And I started looking at the demographics of it and the growth of the sport, and became really intrigued by it.
The duo signed on with The Pickler, a Utah-based franchise founded just 3 years ago, but seeing quite the rally across the country. Industry reports show pickleball has been the fastest growing sport in the U.S. 3 years in a row.
The demographics are really strong for pickleball. All ages can play. You've got people in middle school or even younger to senior citizens playing, and everybody can play and have fun. And I think that's what's really important. It's got really broad appeal.
The Keystone Crossing location will be the first to open this fall, followed by Noblesville, which is a partnership with Purdue football legend Drew Brees. Happy to be business partners, not opponents.
Yeah, he's pretty competitive and very good athlete, and maybe 2 or 3 years younger than Dave.
4 other Pickler locations are planned for central Indiana.
Indiana has I think is a good location for indoor pickleball, just because 3 months of the year, maybe 4 months, people can play outside, but other than that, they'd rather be inside.
While pickleball is a healthy habit, the social side also keeps players coming back for more.
So people will talk a lot while they're playing and after playing, and sit down and go have a beer afterwards or something like that. And probably the advantage over golf is that golf takes 5 hours, 6. I mean, it takes a long time. Where pickleball, after an hour and a half, you're tired. So you want to quit.
The Pickler is a membership model, and members can play at any location in the country. 250 are planned, with Indiana part of the pickleball pipeline.
I'm most excited to just see the people having fun inside this building. Right now it's just a big empty room, but I think that's what I'm most excited about.
10 courts will be at this location, and while it feels massive here, the Noblesville location will be even bigger with 19 courts. And now on to other health news making headlines around the state.
The healthcare landscape in Northeast Indiana is about to expand. IU Health announcing plans for a $421 million hospital in Fort Wayne. More than 500 people will work in the facility, which will also connect to a medical office building. It's expected to open to patients in 2027. Incog Biopharma announcing big plans in Hamilton County. The company is investing $125 million to add a second building on its Fishers campus. Incog Biopharma produces sterile injectable drugs. The expansion is expected to add 100 jobs. Groundbreaking is scheduled for next month.
And that's a look at the health headlines from around the state. Mary Rachel, back to you at the studio.
Thanks, Kylie. Well, time now to check on what's making news in Indiana education.
Time now for our Eye on Education, brought to you by PNC Bank.
We begin this week's Eye on Education with a major gift for students at Marian University. The Tom and Julie Wood Family Foundation donating $29 million to support College of Osteopathic Medicine. It's the largest individual gift in school history. President Daniel Elsner says the school is prioritizing access and success for students, especially in the medical field.
This anchor will help us with scholarships, excellent faculty, expansion of our facilities to handle the increased enrollment, and overall just can take a medical school that's just booming and moving forward to a whole new level of service to the state.
Marian says in 2024, 40% of the graduating class matched with residencies in Indiana. As renovations continue inside the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Museum, there's a new team member driving the pace car of education. Jack Apollos is the museum's first director of education. He comes to IMS after a 15-year career as an Indiana teacher and principal. We'll hear about Jake's vision for the museum on next week's show. He tells us he can't wait to see people of all ages visit the renovated museum and new STEAM classroom. Next, could this be the next play for Indy's sports scene? The Rugby World Cup and other sporting events on the radar. Details when we come back. Well, as we reported at the top of this week's show, IBJ Media has announced its list of Indiana's 250 most influential people for 2024. See who made the list and read their profiles at Indiana250.com. Two big events in Indianapolis this weekend paying big dividends for Hoosier hotels, restaurants, and retailers. As many as 120,000 Catholics and race fans in Indy for two separate events, the National Eucharistic Congress and the Brickyard 400. Hotel rooms at a premium. Visit Indy says nearly 85% of downtown rooms are booked. The National Eucharist Congress is the first U.S.-wide gathering of Catholics in more than 80 years. This weekend's events a testament to Indiana as it continues to flex its muscle for attracting big conventions and hosting huge sporting events. A key player and trailblazer behind the success, Indiana Sports Corp President Patrick Talty. He's had a very big year so far, overseeing Indy hosting NBA All-Star Weekend, the U.S. Olympic swim trials, and nailing down a deal to bring the WWE's biggest events to the state. So what's next?
The draft obviously is one that we're very focused on. I think Indy, like you said, Indy is a perfect place for it. So we're very focused on that as well. There are other events that we keep an eye on. I always talk about this big funnel, and we throw everything into the funnel and we evaluate them.
Penalty advantage, France. Penaud for Cyril Bay.
The Rugby World Cup is coming in 2031 and 2033, men's in 2031 and women's in 2033. And, why now people don't think rugby's mainstream. Soccer wasn't mainstream, many years ago. And so I think it'll continue to grow. Indiana has a very strong rugby scene across the state. And so I think that's something that's out there. I think there's other events that will come that we will see.
Let's make a little history tonight in Indianapolis.
Obviously we're going to continue to bid and secure men's and women's Final Fours. Those are extremely important to us and our partners at the NCAA, so we want to continue to be great hosts for those.
You can hear all of Patrick Talty's take on the economic impact of Indianapolis hosting some of the biggest sporting events in the world on the Business and Beyond podcast with Gary Dick at InsideIndianaBusiness.com. That's all the time we have for this edition of Inside Indiana Business. We leave you with the sights and sounds of summer in Indiana.
Thank you for listening to the Inside Indiana Business Television podcast. Remember, you can get the latest business news from every corner of the state at InsideIndianaBusiness.com. I'm Gary Dick. Go out and make it a successful week.